Hey there. So, powerful night. I just got back home. It was Dad's funeral, celebration of life, and I'm outside walking because I just can't sit still right now. I officiated it. I'm a minister, I guess, if you could say that. And it was hard. I literally ran out of things to say. Like I broke down 2 minutes into it, and I just kind of went numb and shut down. And then I kept talking and did the prayer and had some family come up. But when I walked into the funeral home and saw the coffin and open and I saw my dad in it, I didn't want to go up and see him. I don't think I've ever been so scared to see my dad. And it was humbling, maybe, but like, holy shit. I'm afraid. And I avoided him most of the night. And we started, and the army came to do the flag, and that was like, wow. These guys can fold. Like, I was just blown away. And the honor and the respect, and he was in the service. There was some family issues, so 20, 30 people in the family decided not to come at the last second, and so that was really hard. And there was a lot of his friends from his work that were there. And at one point, I gave the opportunity for people to pay their respects and say whatever they wanted to say about my dad. And I told them the truth. I said, my dad was my greatest challenge, my greatest teacher, and I'm sure he feels that way too. I found myself really sad because I ran out of really great things to say about him. Because I don't have that many memories or experiences where I was like, wow, this is my dad. It was just challenging. And when his friends stood up to talk about him, it was like, he was so caring and giving and loving. He'd give you his shirt off his back, and such a nice guy and charismatic. He always made us laugh. We could always count on him. And I'm like, are you all at the wrong funeral? Are we talking about the same guy? And I just noticed the split between my experience of him, my sister's experience of him, my brother, my nephew. And I shut down even more because I'm like, did I even see my dad past my story of him? Maybe there's more to him than what I thought. Maybe the story I had about him, whether it's true or not, it was true for me, stopped me from seeing all that my dad is. Like, how did I miss that? Like, I never thought he was funny. I experienced him as sarcastic and mean and degrading, and that was his way of showing intimacy, and his judgment towards mom and things he said to my sister. I could go on that list. I never once got a compliment from him or an I love you. So to hear that, it was like, wow. How come I didn't get to see that? And then it occurred to me, well, if my story of my dad is mean and abusive, and I'm scared of him, and I don't trust him, and he's always in the negative. Like, I'm a yes man, go-getter, positive, inspirational speaker, and then there's my dad. How could he be anything different than my story of him? There's so much more to people than how we see them. We think we see all love somebody. But we may not. And I think that's what really hurts. It's like, wow, my story about him stopped me from seeing all that my dad was. Because clearly, these people have a completely different experience of him. But the things they were saying about him, hundreds of people would say about me. And I thought, wow, I didn't show up that way for my dad. And my story about him kept him from showing up that way with me. And my story's true. And everyone in the family would agree. But it's true for me and my dad's relationship. But that doesn't mean that's who he is. I had to stand at the podium and talk, and his coffin's right there. Like, that was so hard. And no one else in the family wanted to talk. I did this whole PowerPoint presentation so people could see his life, and that got all messed up in editing, and it was a disaster. I spent all week doing that. I spent more time doing that than what I was going to say. But the truth is, I'm better when it's just in the moment. At the end of the night, we sat in the front row, my brother, my sister, and me. Just kind of baffled and lost. We went from a family of 5 down to family of 3 in 2 years. It's like we're shrinking. And here it is. And I'm staring at the coffin like, wow. Just like that. And I noticed myself getting pissed and angry that a lot of people weren't going up and seeing my dad. And I started encouraging people. I get it. It's hard. An everyday experience to walk up to a dead body and but I wasn't willing to do it either. It's uncomfortable. And we don't want to see people that way, but the reality is we don't want to see them the way they are because we don't want to deal with our feelings. I noticed when I was getting ready in the bathroom, here I am, a speaker, I could speak in front of thousands of people, and I didn't want to get my damn clothes on. I didn't want to go out there. I wanted just to stay in the bathroom and sit on the toilet and hide. It's finality. And when guests came in, they went right to the food instead of to my dad, and that I noticed how irritating and frustrating that was. They're at a funeral. You don't go to a celebration of life to eat, but to celebrate this person. And I had no idea my dad had that many friends. And they all came up to me afterwards, like, you look just like your dad. One gentleman showed up. I met him when I was 5 years old. He was in the police academy. His name was Dan. He lived right next door to my grandma in this apartment building. And he recognized me right away. And I didn't recognize him, but I remember what he looked like then. And I was like, yeah, we used to play catch. I remember when you were in the police academy. He said, I knew as soon as I saw you who you were. It's like, there's so much of your dad in you. And that kind of confused me because how people saw him and how I saw him didn't match up. But as much as I was afraid of my dad, he was also afraid of failing me. I didn't ever let him be funny. It was like I'm the life of the family, the life of the party. And when I wasn't here, my dad got to be that. So I noticed like there's this competition going on between us. I never wanted to be like my dad growing up. And so to hear tonight that I'm just like him, it's like, I didn't know whether to receive that or be pissed. But I got to the end of that talk and I said, for the first time in my life, I got it. Like, I pushed away a man only to find out I'm just like him. And what people were saying about him, people say about me. Some of my friends came up to me and said, I've never seen you so lost and just wrecked. And it was actually good to feel that. It's good to be wrecked right now. Because I'm not allowed to be wrecked. I got to take care of the family and the state and the house. But I got to be wrecked. I got to be lost. I got to not know what to say. I mean, there was like a 3-minute pause. I can speak for 12 hours a day and I don't miss a beat. But I didn't need to be that today. I just got to be wrecked. Like, this is my dad. This is it. I didn't want to stay at the funeral home. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to take a ride. It's like one of those moments where nothing felt right. That's lost. I'm lost. And that's okay. I don't have to be anything other than what I am right now. And I'm lost. I'm wrecked. I'm starting to cry. I can't cry. I want to walk. I want to sit down, but I can't sit down. All of that. And there's nowhere to go with it. I just get to be in it. Like, there's no right way to be about this. There's no wrong way to be about this. Like, whatever you're experiencing, whatever I'm experiencing, that's where you're at. And so, starting to notice I'm missing him, and we have a house together, and he's not in his chair right now. And there's a part of me that wants to go in there and accept that and sit in his chair. There's a part of me that just wants to go pick him up, bring him back home. There's a part of me that doesn't want to deal with it at all. And so that mixed confusion or feeling directionless, yeah, that's a good thing. It means I'm moving through it. It means I'm in reality. It's life without Dad. And navigating through it doesn't mean you're always on the path and things always feel good. Navigating through it means part of the journey is you get wrecked. You get lost. And then you come back home. So, I wanted to share that with you. The journey continues. More videos. Other videos you'll get to see what I went through at the hospital and whatnot. So, for whatever reason, odd reason, I've never felt this before, but it feels really good to just be wrecked and lost. I don't have to do anything. Like, there's nothing to do. Nothing will make this better or go away other than just be in it. And so, yeah, it's Saturday night and 44 years with Dad in my life, and tonight's the first night without him on Earth. And so, I hope this helps you.